Hello, so glad you're able to join us. My name is Jim Lee. Well, if you look, see, and tell the truth, oh my goodness, life is in chaos, turmoil, not just in one place, but all over the place. And what we're looking for are basically some answers. And so some of our progressive thinkers say if you really take a look at all of the major news outlets, none of them are providing us with the unbiased, clear picture of truth. In fact, some of them even providing unbiased fake news. So if we really take a look, we're saying, oh my goodness, how are we going to maneuver through this? We've got all of these issues, and you say, oh, yeah, well, our democracy can do it. Well, our democracy is not even providing us the answers that we need and the leadership that we need to guide us through it. We keep going, I would say, backwards a lot of times instead of forwards. In fact, the thing that we're looking at doing, how can we maneuver in such a way that we can get out of the direction for this next mass extinction, which is the sixth one, by the way? Well, it's times like this, I would say, who are we going to call? And what comes to mind, of course, is I just finished watching the movie Ghostbusters. Like, who are we going to call? Well, there's no one to call right now except ourselves. We are the ones that we have been waiting for. The one to lead and guide and direct us through these life's ups and downs and conditions and circumstances, both individually and collectively. Yep, is us. And so, and I am calling you and I to be luminous leaders today. Each one of us, I assert, has within inside of us to be this leader. In fact, we are like Simba of the Lion King. We have it, whether we know it or not, and whether we want it or not, we have the potentiality in each and every one of us to be a luminous leader. When you think of the word leader or leadership, what comes into mind a lot of times are like military leaders or political leaders or captains of industry, CEOs like Lee Iacocca back in the 70s with the Chrysler Corporation facing bankruptcy. He alone lifted them out with his innovation and creativity and flipped them around, changed their bottom line from bankruptcy to $925 million in the black. Now that's fantastic, but that's not the leadership that I'm talking about. I am not talking about a leader of an organization, a movement, industry, or politics. Not the kind of leader. This leadership is more about who you and I are being. This is who we're being not only for ourselves, but for others as well. This leadership is holistic in essence, with improving the bottom line and the quality of life for everybody on the planet. I am talking about a luminous leader that is more connecting than controlling, more influence than wielding power, and more directional than being a dictator. We have this luminous leadership within us, right inside of us, right now. We need to cultivate it and allow it to be. So today, the invitation is this: to embrace being a luminous leader, to depend on the guidance from within, instead of without, to hear all sides of everything that's going on and have the wisdom to take the action that benefits the whole instead of the few, and to stand up for truth so we don't fall for the lies. There are three people that I would model this luminous leadership after. And first one I would call is Mahatma Gandhi. Now, Gandhi led the movement to remove the British rule over India. And gosh, he did it with non-violence. In fact, he did it without an army, and he did it without firing one shot. In fact, he did it without harming a single soul. Most historians say he was the greatest leader of all. And I'm saying, yeah, but what he had and what he was a luminous leader. The next person is Nelson Mandela. He led the anti-apartheid movement in South Africa that stood up for human dignity for all. And after serving 30 years in jail, in prison, he came out not angry and bitter. In fact, he was able to lead his country into an equal future with love and acceptance for everybody. Who was he being? A luminous leader. And we have the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., a civil rights leader that adopted Gandhi's non-violent values. And he was able to transform the civil rights movement in the United States. And he had a great vision that everybody would be able to live in harmony and equality. Who was he being? A luminous leader. Now, yep, they had courage. Gosh, they had perseverance, fortitude. They had integrity. And when the things got tough, they really got going even more. And of course, all of these qualities are great leaders, but there's another quality that I'm going to add, and that is they possess a spiritual gravity of love that allowed them to be a luminous leader. Now, this luminous leader is one that is available to all of us. And each and every one of us, it doesn't matter about our educational background, how many classes we've taken, how often we've gone to church, how many books we've read. This luminous leader is available to all of us. And I call of us, we're all going what I would call a soul journey. We are going through this life experience. And I'm saying that we are light workers, that we are truth students trying to maneuver life's ups and downs. We are the ones, I assert, are the now luminous leaders. All we need to be able to do is follow the pure spirit of love. We can transform our lives. Not only that, we can share it with others and transform their lives. This is a movement in progress. All we need to do is to lead, guide, and direct ourselves to this next evolution by being luminous leader. What does it take? It's really not that hard. We just need to stay connected to this pure, universal presence of the heart of love that is everywhere, that this binds this entire universe together. Some people call it the force. We call it the force of love. We need to embrace it like Luke Skywalker as a Jedi Knight. This is what we have within us. I am saying, let's stay connected to the force. Stay connected to light. stay connected to love. It's like a light, it's like a lamp that has a magnificent light. But in order for the light to come on, it needs to stay plugged in. So what I'm saying is we need to stay plugged in to this love source so that we can illuminate and be the light being for ourselves and for others. Today's time is calling for it, but that's the reason why there is so much darkness. It's calling for us to be the luminous light bearers, luminous leaders, bringing the light. Now, this starts with, I would say, tapping into ourselves first. Stay plugged in. We need to love ourselves, special kind of way, unconditionally. No, for no particular reason other than just love ourselves totally. I know we weren't trained like this, and I especially was brought up with a lot of guilt, shame, blame, and so this is a stretch. Love ourselves unconditionally. Relax into that. Love ourselves so much that we're willing to be compassionate for ourselves, all parts of us, the good, the bad, and the ugly part of us. Just have compassion for ourselves. We're doing the best that we can be. Have compassion. That taps us into this force. And then the other thing is forgive ourselves. We have made mistakes. I've made mistakes. All God's children have made mistakes. The key is to forgive ourselves. Unforgiveness holds us down, blocks it. Loving and forgiving ourselves opens us up. And once we stay plugged in to this universal energy source, that who we are, now we're taking it to the next level. There's a book that I like, and it's called A New Republic of the Heart by Terry Patton. And it has a couple of M's in it that allows us to stay plugged in. Remember now, the goal is to stay plugged into this. And so now, as we're going through, the first thing is in the mornings when we wake up. That's the first M, by the way. We don't get plugged in right away. Take a deep breath and put up in many places when you first wake up is I live as love. And then just breathe that in. Just relax into that for a moment. This needs to be a full, whole-bodied experience, not just the intellect, not just the feelings, but all of it, including the body. With that, we stay plugged in. The next M is the moment. Every moment is the present moment. And when a moment occurs that I would say has lack, limitation, fear, worry, doubt, and we get hooked by condition, hooked by a situation, take that moment to trigger you to remember, oh, I need to stay plugged in. If you're plugged in, then you're not in worry, doubt, fear, anxiety. But when you get unplugged and those occurred, and it's just a reminder, click, stay plugged in. So breathe in and say, I live as love. Breathe it in. You'll automatically get plugged in. And then the next M, I call this momentum. So as we're doing this, we're noticing that now conditions that come toward us, because we've got the momentum and we see something is coming up, we get all kind of distorted information, we get darkness, we get misinformation, we get confusion, we get worry. Then we're engaging in life in those conditions and situations which says, I am now living as love. I'm seeing that is not against me, that is for me. And now we have the wisdom and the insight to navigate and move in and through the situation as a luminous leader. This is what we're up to. The next piece of this, and I love my beloved Ricky Byers, who is a poet and songwriter extraordinary. She says, I love myself so much as a luminous leader that I can love you so much that you can love you so much that you can start loving me. For you see, this luminous leader is not just for one, not just for a selected few. This is for each and every one of us, but it's so that we can cross-pollinate, so that we can, check this out, contaminate each other with this love, that we can be the gift that keeps on giving, and it becomes a feedback loop. This luminous leader breaks us out of the next paradigm, breaks us into the next paradigm. This is not a top down. This is a bottom up. As a matter of fact, this will not be brought to us on the 6 o'clock news. This is not brought to us by Coke, by Tide, by anything. This is going to be brought forth from us because these days and times are saying it is time. What time is it? It's time for us to be a luminous leader. The affirmation is this: I live as love. This is who we are. And this is who we can be for each other. And this is who we can be for the world. So the invitation is to embrace being the luminous leader that you already are, to depend upon the guidance within instead of the fake news without, to hear all sides of everything, go to the heart, allow wisdom to take action in us that benefits the whole instead of the few. Stand up for the truth, and let's not fall for the lies. And as we do, this moment in time, as we go through, will be transformed into our next evolutionary step. Everything is calling us to be it. If it is to be, it's up to me, and it's up to you. We can do this. We are luminous leaders. God bless you all.